Hello everyone, I am a third year medical university student, and because of the fact that it's the 1st of September today and the academic year is kind of approaching, I decided to make a video about stuff you should know or remember before getting into the medical university. So the first thing is that it's not really as romanticized as you imagine it to be, because we think of this profession as a heroic job. However, in most of the times it's very depressing and confusing. For example, on the practice at the hospital, I had to communicate with patients, of course, and sometimes being a student, you have to say, sorry, I don't know, you have to ask your doctor. And people would actually curse at me, and that is the moment you have to find ways to approach to the patient correctly and kind of ways to cope with those words. And actually, buildings of hospitals, ORs, ERs, they don't actually look like they do on TV series. Most of them are not renovated, and morgues are just in terrible conditions for understandable reasons. The next one is kind of with much wisdom comes much sorrow. You study human bodies very deeply, and that means you study bodies of yourself, of your parents and your loved ones. After microbiology course, you just can't think about it. You always think what is around you, what you eat, what your body has to go through every time, and sometimes that is a lot to process. The next one is study absolutely everything you can. Sometimes it doesn't make sense, but I promise it will afterwards. And you will never get that knowledge that your university gives you today. So use that time as much as possible. You will regret not studying it, and you will think like, oh damn, I wish I knew that. I wish now someone would explain that topic to me that my teacher was explaining to me at the university or at the college. And that brings us to do not be harsh on yourself. That is a very hard thing to do, especially when you're a medical student, because we have so much responsibility, not only in front of our future patients, but in front of our parents, our grandparents that will need us one day. But please don't be harsh on yourself, because every time you go to rest, every time you go to the cinema, please do not be harsh on yourself and give yourself that time to have a productive and nice rest, because that will actually motivate you to study more and to accomplish more things. I would always beat myself up whenever I would get a D or B or C. That is not correct thing to do. You put that aside and you go forward with new goals and new stuff, because in the end, your marks don't really matter, your knowledge does. So anytime something doesn't go right, please don't be harsh on yourself, and know that you are a human too, and you need to think of yourself too. You are a human first, and only then you're a medical student. This one might not be for everyone, but I would really recommend to meditate, pray, or center yourself, because again, the knowledge you get and the amount of studying you do can actually be very disturbing, and the first thing you should think about is your own mental health, because if you lose yourself, then it will play a very negative role on your performance. It will be very hard to find ways to yourself again. And the last, I know that it seems like it's forever, it seems like these years will just never end, but I promise you, time flies so fast. You won't even know, and you're already going to be a doctor. So use this time as much as you can, and do not put that idea in your brain that it's all going to last for so long. That idea is very pressing. Know that it's going to end as any chapter in your life ends, and you should make the best out of it and enjoy it. That is very important. Enjoy it and have fun, because these years are just one of the best in your life. Please give yourself credit whenever you do good or whenever you do bad. Look after yourself, and as much as you rest and as much as you give yourself time to process, that will give you motivation to actually study harder and do better. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others.